Hey friends, and welcome back to another weekly update. We are here week 57 on the Trades Talk weekly update, and it is an incredible week. Everything and nothing has happened in the last week. I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by that and unpack all the latest updates in AI, why some matter to you, and why other updates, news, and headlines should just completely be ignored. There's a lot of noise, a lot of chaos. We're going to cut right to the meat so you in the trades can do a better job of running your business, delivering amazing client experiences, and leveraging AI to get ahead. Let's dive in. All right. And today on the weekly update, K&D is continuing to grow. I'm just kidding, guys. But seriously, we are closing maintenance contract after maintenance contract after maintenance contract, and the sales team is absolutely on fire. So I just want to shout out the K&D team for a quick minute. You guys are absolutely crushing it. And it really goes back to the intentional focus we made, the shift we made. And you guys listening to this podcast, to this weekly update, you guys got to watch this shift happen in real time. We went from a M&A strategy of looking to buy companies, actively investigating and looking at companies to purchase, to a fully organic strategy. We believe that organic growth is the key success point of companies over the next 2 to 3 years. So that is where we've placed our bet, and that is where we've placed our money, and that is where we've placed our energy. And it's starting to pay off. The first 6 months was a little bit of a slow sales cycle comparative to our goals, but year over year, maintenance, for example, is up 300% in sales. So something is working in the company. And I think a lot of it goes back to our sales process. Big shout out to Tony and the entire growth team for pushing through on the sales process. Also, big shout out to our operational team, because without an operational team that says yes, when new sales come in, it's going to be very hard to continue a growth rate over 30% a year, which is our target. Okay. We got more updates at K&D, but I want to get to the headlines, guys. A lot is happening in AI right now, and we need to talk about it. So first off, ServiceTitan actually put out a really incredible state of the AI survey. They surveyed over 1,000 contractors, which is a big pool. And I really trust the ServiceTitan database because they have, I believe, the best contractors in the trade utilizing their programs. So out of 1,000 contractors, 66% of responders said they expect AI to bring a moderate or major transformation over the next 1 to 3 years. What does this mean for you? The majority of the trade industry, at least the responders of this survey, believe that AI is going to bring a moderate or major transformation to their business, meaning they are going to get ahead in key areas like paid ads and marketing, like sales and speed to lead, like operational efficiency and understanding what's happening in the field on an hour by hour basis. Now, depending on what trade you're in, that matters. When you know what's going on in your business from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., where most of the waste happens, you can start putting a stop to the waste, increase efficiency, and increase your revenue while improving your wages within your operation, which is a core focus of K&D. Now, the other responders, this is really important, only 12% of responders have embedded AI into their operations today, meaning only 12% are actually implementing AI beyond just experimenting or playing with it. That is a fraction of the market. Look at that spread. 12% are actually implementing. 66% believe it's going to change their business. That gap right there, that 54% gap of the trade industry who A, believes in AI, but has not implemented, that, folks, that is your opportunity. Do not get caught up in the wave and the majority of AI transformation. You need to be ahead of this. And by listening to this weekly update, you already are. Let's continue to move through these statistics. 62% of those utilizing AI, utilizing and have embedded AI, 62% report measurable efficiency gains. That means they are actually seeing results. Now, if you take these same type of questions and you apply it to the Fortune 500 companies, you're going to get dramatically different results. In fact, only 14% of CEOs surveyed by Fortune magazine reported they are seeing significant ROI on their AI investments. It is not moving the needle in big business. If you have a company that's $1 billion or larger, you are struggling with AI implementation at scale. I promise you that. So do not worry about the big guys implementing AI faster. They are going to move slower. They are going to they're going to be less efficient than you. And this is your opportunity to strike. Now, a few more statistics, and then we'll get on to headlines. Lawn and Landscape 2026 Tech Report found that 73% of responders rely on technology today more than they did 5 years ago. I share that with you only to say, what the fuck are the other 27% doing where they aren't relying on technology today more than they were 5 years ago? That's a crazy statistic, actually. Like, how is that not 100%? How are people not utilizing and relying on technology more today than 5 years ago? The truth is, that's the industry we're in, and that's the opportunity we have. All right, we're going to continue to move down this week. This week, we have some huge headlines in AI. I want to talk about how AI is going small and it's going local right to your device. Yes, we have a few things here. Number one, Claude Cowork dropped on mobile devices for Mac users in certain areas. For whatever reason, it's not all Mac users, but it showed up on my phone. And for the last 4 days, I have been experimenting and playing with it. And I will tell you, it is a game changer. One of the best things that this is made for is creating presentation level graphics and doing true design work on your mobile phone. Things that you would normally have to use Canva or PowerPoint or Adobe or some other program for can now be done on your mobile phone, making you more autonomous in the travel mode or in the road. Wherever you are in the world, you can now utilize Claude Cowork on your mobile and make massive gains forward. The other big news that is happening where AI is going small and local is Prism ML's Bonsai 27B, running a 27 billion parameter on 3.9 gigabytes on an iPhone. What this means is it is running a local AI model on an iPhone. Local AI model, meaning it does not connect to the cloud, connect to the internet, or do anything else. All of the inference, reasoning, and information of that AI model is living on the iPhone. This is a massive breakthrough and something I want to bring a lot of attention to because this matters for people building out software and building out solutions and building out operating systems within your business. Here's what's going on. The iPhone is becoming a new data center. Every single person has an incredibly powerful computer right in their pocket, or at least 80-something% of US Americans have an iPhone. And what is happening is those iPhones are becoming the new AI models. And having a local model on your iPhone means you don't need internet, you don't need service, you just ask it a question and you get an answer. Now, for a company running, let's say an HVAC company, who has a specific set of SOPs and a specific set of models that they work on, that technician can now have access to the entire database of information within that company on their iPhone in a private server. No cybersecurity issues, no risk of infiltration or sharing of data. This means we can go local, we can go small, and we can go private. This is going to be a massive breakthrough as we start to see embedded devices show up on our iPhones, Androids, and other handheld devices that will have AI pre-built in. Siri completely sucks. And if you're not connected to the internet, Siri really sucks. So this is going to be a major breakthrough for just day-to-day interactions for things that you use AI for. Now, it is going to help with a major chunk and slice of AI, but it will not help with the massive inference and the big reasoning models that need to do specific projects. So I don't think in the next 6 to 12 months, we're going to be doing a bunch of coding on our phone, but it's not far-fetched to think that most of the things you use AI for today can potentially be living locally on your phone. This is a pretty major breakthrough and something that's important to note. The other thing is politics is going wild right now. So OpenAI is proposing basically handing the government 5% of OpenAI. That's like a really, really large amount of money. And it's roughly worth $42.6 billion today. Sam Altman is basically pitching the idea directly to President Trump. And what this means is that American businesses are creating relationships with the government, which is going to build a faster and more robust pipeline to development. Sam is incredibly smart and an amazing visionary. He saw what happened with Anthropic. Anthropic and Dario butted heads with Trump and the Trump administration. All of a sudden, Fable 5 comes out, Mythos grade large language model, and it gets shut down. Well, Sam Altman knows that he's building something that's probably far superior than Fable 5 and more powerful and more dangerous. So instead of fighting the Trump administration and fighting the government, he is actually going to partner with the government. So if he can show an economic value to shareholders by launching a new model, even though it has its risks of jailbreaking and having access and data breaches, they can align with the government and they can actually move faster than their competition. This is a move that will potentially be copied by other large companies. Also, you have a massive race to IPO between Anthropic and OpenAI right now. Not sure if there is benefit of going and IPOing before the end of the year or in 2027. Obviously, there's a lot of capital that needs to be allocated to these IPOs, but it was clear with SpaceX's $1 trillion IPO, they had no problem raising this capital during and after their IPO. So we'll see what Anthropic and OpenAI do. But in additional news in AI, according to Fortune and a number of other insiders, Anthropic has overtaken OpenAI in monthly recurring revenue or annualized revenue spend. Well, I shouldn't say spend, annualized income. That means that Anthropic is on a growth trajectory to do what no other company in the history of the world has done. They are racing to a $3 trillion valuation quicker than anyone. And I believe they're going to get there before OpenAI, before SpaceX, and before many others. We're really, really interested in watching this play out, and I'm going to keep you guys updated. I can't wait to have Sean on. Sean's coming on next week to unpack some of this with me. Also, Gemini 3.5 just launched. It is an incredible model. And if you use the Google suite of tools, I highly recommend utilizing Gemini 3.5 Pro to search your database, to search your emails, and to ask general questions about your data. Because while Anthropic and OpenAI connect to the Google ecosystem, Gemini is always going to be a superior product when it comes to interfacing and interacting with the Google ecosystem. So really, really exciting stuff there. Also, ChatGPT 5.6 family just launched, and that's a big change as well. 5.6 is good. It's not like great. I mean, the one thing I would say ChatGPT is really good for, I use it for weekly, maybe daily sometimes, is the deep research abilities. It can go so deep and it'll spend 2, 3, 4 hours researching something if you prompt it right. The best way to prompt a deep research product is actually to go to Claude and say, hey, we're working on a deep research product. I want you to build me an amazing prompt that I can then go and plug into the model to understand and accomplish this deep research project. I then take that prompt, I copy it, and I paste it into ChatGPT. Doing that has been a huge unlock, and I feel like it's almost like using the AIs against each other, but also to make each other better. So worth trying. The other thing that is really important in terms of quality of AI output is it's no longer about quantity, folks. We are in Q3 of 2026. Stop putting out quality AI images, AI flyers, AI marketing that no one cares about. Your annual budgets for 2027, all you landscapers out there, those pretty budgets that you're so proud of, they look like dog. It's time to change the way you're using AI. Okay, I'm great. You can put out 200 budgets in the course of a week. Yeah, that's great. You have a lot of quantity. The truth is, the property managers and the HOA board members and the commercial owners that see those budgets, that have all this AI fluff to them and words like, it's not about the landscaping, it's about your property. And all this other like fluff we don't need. I've seen a lot of these and I'm not impressed at all, including from my own team. I'm talking to you guys. We need to step up our quality when it comes to AI output. It is time to stop playing in the sandbox and stop actually using AI at an enterprise grade level. The biggest, I'm going to just go on this because I'm actually like sincerely pissed about this. The biggest mistake enterprise companies are making, and I'm seeing this from large billion-dollar companies, is they are putting out the worst quality content, the worst quality marketing assets, and some of the worst emails I've ever seen. These companies are so much better than this. And when humans were operating a lot of this, the quality of content, the quality of email marketing, the quality of their newsletter was top tier. And all of a sudden they're optimizing with AI. They haven't reduced headcount. They haven't cut costs. They're not really doing anything except using more AI to deploy more quantity. Well, if your newsletter sucks, publishing it twice a week instead of once a week is not going to get you more clients and more followers. If your marketing sucks, sending out flyers twice a week instead of twice a month is not going to help you get more business. It is time to change the way you're using AI. Stop thinking about quantity and start thinking about quality. This is a massive shift that we have made at K&D Landscaping as of last week, July 12th. We sat our team down and said it's time to improve our output. No excuses, guys. We are professionals at what we do. We demand high standards for our team in the field, and we need to demand the same high standards for our team in the office. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Thanks for listening. So, a few other things I wanted to chat about today is the guests that we have had on over the last week and coming up next week. So last week on Wednesday, this week, basically, we had Steve Wheatcroft on. Steve is an incredible entrepreneur, CEO, coach, advisor, and just all around good fucking dude. Steve is probably one of the funnest people to hang out with. And I always look forward to opportunities to break bread and chop it up with Steve. Steve grew his company, Landscape and Snow, to over $100 million. 100 mil. And the funniest story, you guys got to listen to the podcast. If you haven't heard it, please go listen to it. In college, his assignment was to build a business plan that he could go out and do. He built the business plan, him and his buddy, and his teacher gave him a B-. Basically, it's an F in college. I mean, it was a good enough business plan, but the teacher said, this is not realistic. This is not a good business plan. Steve took that business plan and he built his company. He took it to 100 million, and bada bing, bada boom. What do you know? College professors don't actually know everything. So before you give up on your dreams, this is a message, guys, coming straight from Steve. Before you give up on your dreams and you let someone tell you what you're capable of, you better bet on yourself and take it all the way. And if you fail, okay. If you succeed, even better. You win in both ways. And Steve's story is exactly that. It's an incredible story. Highly recommend going and listening to that. Coming up next week, we've got Jerry Schill from the Landscape Collective, formerly Schill Grounds Care. Jerry is one of the nicest and most open book leaders in the landscape industry. They're running at $200 million of revenue with approximately 2,000 team members. He has built one of the most advanced, one of the best respected, and one of the fastest growing landscape companies in North America. And I am incredibly impressed with the way he is able to describe his strategies and his business in a box thesis that he has not just theorized, but he has actually put into play. And not just once, not just twice. They have purchased dozens of businesses and have successfully deployed the business in the box thesis. And it is working incredibly well. Pay attention to Jerry Schill because they're going to $1 billion and you're going to want to follow that journey. Next Wednesday, his episode drops. Now, one more huge thing that happened this week, which is a little bit underground, you may or may not have seen this on Instagram, is Crest Voyager is starting to demo their 60-inch Voyager. This is massive because Crest is the undisputed leader in their autonomous ecosystem. No one is even close to the Crest autonomous mowing capabilities. We're seeing this in real time. We're working very closely with Crest and their engineering team to help them develop and produce better software on a daily basis. There's often cases where we will send a report of issues we ran into on a Tuesday, and they give us a software update on Wednesday morning. These people are moving fast. And it reminds me of a Wayne Gretzky quote. Wayne Gretzky was the famous hockey player. I'm not even going to explain who he is. You should know who he is. Wayne Gretzky said, "Don't skate to the puck, skate to where the puck is going." And that is exactly what Crest and their autonomous team is doing. They see where the market's going, they're skating to where the puck is headed, and they are beating everybody there. If you guys have not demoed the Voyager, whether it's the 40-inch and now the 60-inch, or one of their other small robotic mowers, it's time to do so. And if you want to really create a differentiation in your market like K&D has, it's time to start thinking about electric equipment. We went all electric January 1st, 2025. It is one of our best differentiators. I would say it might be the number one differentiator that has allowed us to 300% grow our maintenance sales this year. That is no joke. No joke. It is an incredible opportunity. If you guys want to get an intro to Crest, get that demo set up, just send us an email, send it over to justin@jwhitegroup.com, visit our website, whatever you want to do, just get a hold of me, drop a comment, I don't care, and let me know. I would love to connect you guys. I am so passionate about what they're building. I see where the market's going. You do too. It's time to get off your ass and start taking action. All right, guys, we're going to start to wrap this up. And I just want to thank everybody for listening. And look, I'm a bit hot today. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit agitated with what's going on in our market, with what's going on in the landscape industry. I think we're better than what we're doing. It's time to be in the top 1%. It's time to start applying AI at scale. It's time to start focusing on quality over quantity. And it's time to take your growth seriously. If I can grow a company from 1 to 25 million with my team, you can too. Keep following Trades Talk Weekly Update for our journey to $1 billion in value by 2035, our mission to $100,000 minimum wage, and our mission to give back $150 million of employee equity by 2035. I am calling our shots. We are going to do this, and we are going to do it with you watching. Let's go.
Thanks for tuning in to Trades Talk, where the next generation of disruptors comes to raise the bar. If you got value from today's episode, share it with someone in the trades who's ready to level up. For more tools, insights, and community, follow host Justin White and join the movement at jwhitegroup.com.